There are new developments in the probe into the police response during the mass shooting at Robb Elementary. This morning, we're learning that at least 5 Texas Department of Public Safety law enforcement officers are now under investigation. According to a statement from the Texas Department of Public Safety to NBC News, 2 of those 5 officers have been suspended with pay pending the outcome of the investigation. It all comes as a result of the department's internal committee to review its response to the attack. NBC News correspondent Antonia Hylton joins us now from Uvalde, Texas, with the latest on this. Hey, Antonia, good to see you. So what can we expect from some of these investigations here? The investigation specifically from the Office of the Inspector General. What are they looking for, and what kind of actions can they take pending what they determine?
That's right, Savannah. So the Office of the Inspector General is going to be looking for signs of inaction, essentially, signs that these officers may have violated policies or training, and that day when they were here at Robb Elementary, they essentially should have known better or taken a different set of steps and action than what was taken that day. Of course, as we all know now, about 77 minutes went by, and much of the attention has been placed on former Chief Pete Arredondo, on the officers from Uvalde. But there were a number of DPS officers here on the scene, and people have argued that they should have essentially overridden the other officers here and taken action much quicker and treated the gunman that day, as an active scene and not have barricaded as a barricaded subject. So what we can expect now is for them to be looking for those signs of inaction. They can potentially recommend them to the district attorney. And even if the Inspector General does not decide that any disciplinary action is necessary, the director of DPS, Stephen McGraw, can actually take internal action himself. And so that's what people in this community are going to be looking for, Savannah.
And the Department of Public Safety has yet to release the policies that they actually had in place before the Uvalde massacre, despite several requests to have those documents released. First, tell us why that's important. Why are people wanting to see that? And then what are people saying? What are local leaders saying about the fact that they haven't seen them?
Well, the reason why leaders and community members here in Uvalde have pushed to have those policies made public is because, of course, it would help us understand what should they have known to do that day? What were they expected to do? What had they been trained to do? And if we had a clear outline of what that looked like, you could better compare that side by side with what we saw take place that day. And so that's why we've seen so many of these pushes for accountability from DPS and, of course, other agencies involved that day on the ground. As you mentioned, Senator Roland Gutierrez, who has been here on the community, meeting with families and consistently pushing for more information, more transparency to be out there, has released a statement saying that, transparency is a key part of all of this. And he's laid the blame at the feet of Governor Greg Abbott and at DPS. And he is really looking to see what kind of accountability, what kinds of actions can be taken once we know more from this investigation. But right now, there is not a precise timeline on this, on when we're going to hear the results of what the Office of the Inspector General finds now, Savannah.
Antonia, all this comes as students in Uvalde head back to school for the first time since that mass shooting. Is this the type of accountability that families are looking for their kids who are scared, for these families who have been so disappointed in every step that they've learned here about the police and the official response here? Does this help at all?
Look, my guess would be that absolutely. Of course, this came out just hours after the first day of school yesterday. And so some families weren't aware of this as this came out at first. People are still processing this news. But look, parents have said that accountability, someone really stepping up and saying, hey, we made a mistake, and this is at least partially our fault, is a key part of healing and of moving forward for them. And, I can tell you, I was on the ground in front of Flores Elementary, where many of the kids were coming for their first day of school yesterday. And people were, in some cases, Savannah, grieving, crying in their cars, parents comforting their kids before they went into the first day of school. This is, of course, not your typical first day of school where kids are supposed to be running around, seeing their friends they haven't seen all summer and having, a really exciting, fun time. For many people in the community, that was not what yesterday represented. And I'm sure it's not what today, their second day, feels like necessarily. And so, of course, this accountability piece is such an important part of the story. And I think we'll soon see parents saying that they are looking forward to the results of all this as well.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.